So apparently Turtle WoW have succeeded melting the cold heart of Blizzard. Employees are starting to talk and rumors are starting to pop all around. Now Bellular did make a video about that and I'm very interested in what he has to say because I do know that he has some really good insider knowledge and I can't wait to hear that Blizzard took notes from Turtle WoW because I'm truly salivating for an official Turtle WoW experience. I really want Classic Plus servers to be good, and if they can learn from Turtle WoW anything, that would be fantastic. I'm a huge Turtle WoW fan. I play this game a ton. You already know it, but you know this by this point. And I mean, yeah, I just can't wait for Blizzard to actually make a good Classic Plus experience. Now, will it happen? Most likely not, because it's Blizzard, but we can only hope.
Remember Turtle WoW? So 2025 was the year that it really took off, but it has actually now all ended in a bit of catastrophe. So here's the context you need for this story. Turtle were a private server team that basically could do no wrong in the eyes of many. And they did a lot of really cool dev work. And the last few WoW patches that they were...
No, they did do some things wrong, but the thing is, they tried. That's why people appreciated them. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Gilneas. If you, obviously the Turtle WoW version of Gilneas, not the Cataclysm version of the retail, don't talk about that. I mean, it was good, but, you know, I'm not referring to that. The Turtle WoW version of Gilneas, I think, was horrendous in terms of verticality. Like, literally going from place to place was so weird. There were so many, jagged rocks and stuff it seems like you should have climbed on, but you actually can't. You need to do, a full turnaround. It's something weird. The verticality was off to me. And the entire story was just kind of So, if you look at that location, it wasn't really that great, but people still appreciated the fact that they tried. Even the dungeon itself, inside of Gilneas, like Gilneas City, it wasn't that great compared to the many others, but at least they tried. And that's why people are so mad with Blizzard, because they don't even try. They don't even acknowledge the fact that people want Classic Plus. Just like they didn't acknowledge us when we said we wanted Classic, until they ran out of money and they're like, oh, okay, press the button. And everyone loved Blizzard again for, just a few years before they screwed up everything again.
At least turned out to be the Classic Plus experience that many people really wanted. The new content was lore accurate to Classic, but even more than that, and more importantly, it was tone accurate. It actually felt like more Classic in the way that people wanted. Just that early Blizzard texture that Season of Discovery perhaps lacked in places. Plus the small fact that playing in their server was often a better experience than the
I don't care, personally for me, I don't really care about the graphics. If you want to use the new engine, it's fine with me. Just make the pace lower. That's pretty much, I think, 90% of people care about. I think people would appreciate the new engine because all of the cool abilities you can do, and obviously, it just looks better. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Classic engine does have a unique feel to it, for sure. But I think people would most likely appreciate, all of the greatest abilities we have in the game right now, just in a Classic settings. And when I say Classic, I mean slower pace. That's pretty much it.
Official Blizzard ones, because they had real GMs and bots were kinda nowhere in sight. They were actually being dealt with. Now that does all sound fantastic, right? But that's obviously not what put them on the map this year. Two major things happened earlier on that lead to what's happened today.
They were constantly gloating about the player count they have, and Blizzard looked at that and they were like, damn, that's crazy. We can't have that happening to us. And I do understand Blizzard's perspective on it because it's their IP at the end of the day. And even though I love Turtle WoW greatly, what they've done, it's not really good, right? I can't advocate for private server. I never will. This server was great and I still love it to death. But at the end of the day, you can't really afford to do that. Blizzard has every single right. It's their IP. And even though I hate Blizzard, it is what it is. I have to face reality.
First was this. This is a trailer for Turtle WoW 2.0.
And it hurts me to say it too, believe me, but it is what it is.
Version of Classic WoW running on the Unreal Engine. So basically, big old client-side port. Now this was due to release December 2025, and it promised a fairly insane future.
Really?
Now, to many people, looks very great and cool, and the engineer in me thinks it's a really awesome project. However, I think artistically, it kinda mostly did look terrible.
Yeah.
The spell effects were ugly as sin, and WoW's assets were not designed for the realistic lighting that will be coming with Unreal Engine. But obviously,
it's like trying to combine two different games that doesn't even go along together and just turn it into one. It just looked like an amalgamation. It reminds me the baby from South Park from the PETA episode, if you know what I'm talking about. Like the ostrich, and it just looks like that.
It drew a lot of
kill me
hype and a lot of
if
attention.
You know the episode, it's hilarious.
This combo of hype and blatant infringement, that drew Blizzard's ire, and that's what gave Turtle even more attention. You see, it wasn't a standard private server story. Thanks to Blizzard's filing, we basically saw a dark old history of the Turtle WoW team's Russian leadership coming to light, where in short, there's, at least according to what Blizzard are alleging, a underground mafia making bank on cash shops and basically the whole hype cycle of, oh, new private servers.
Dude, don't believe anything Blizzard says. Everything Blizzard says is, like, lie. Straight up. But I will say, the servers are in Russia, and the reason I heard it was there to, like, kind of avoid certain things. But I might be wrong about that. I don't want to get too much into legality of stuff. Like, I know what they've done is illegal, and it's not good. Like, I'm not advocating for that at all.
And, well, not even joking here. Like, it does actually all appear to be real. Now, of course, as an American company, Blizzard really couldn't do that much in the Russian courts.
Exactly.
But they did find a way. They found an American team member. And since September, they have been raking said team member over the legal coals. Now, of course, lawsuits take time, and on that front, there have been no major updates.
They actually found one guy they could charge, and then they just went full bazonkas on him. Damn, that's kind of sucks to be that guy.
But as it turns out, Turtle really did enjoy being on the map. And that's where today's story begins to heat up. So shortly after the lawsuit, they made a public plea to Blizzard saying, please Blizzard, see sense. Set up a licensing agreement so Turtle and other servers can go legit.
Dude, that won't do a damn thing, but I'm pretty sure they made this statement for the people, more than to Blizzard themselves. I think they wanted to make people riled up against Blizzard, and to some degree, I think they have succeeded, but this wasn't really meant for Blizzard. It was meant to rile up the people because, you know, Blizzard doesn't care. And they know that. Like, Blizzard doesn't give a shit. Blizzard will do anything to break you, and no matter the cost. They don't care about reputation. We've seen it before, and we've seen it now. They don't, like, oh my god, please, let's work together and create something better for humanity. They don't give a fuck. Like, they don't.
And we covered that in depth previously.
All they care about is money.
They made loads of, I would say, fairly basic, like, populist arguments that were completely flawed when you actually looked into the depth of the situation.
Yeah, because
so
they
made
meant
a bunch
to rile
of
up the
surface
people.
level comparisons that, you know, all fine with vibes, but just didn't really hold any water in reality when you actually went through them on a case-by-case basis, which we did. So, in reality, it wasn't...
If Blizzard wasn't broken until now, it's never going to break. Because the whales are pretty much the only thing that holding it in place, and also the classic Andes, such as myself. Because we're still playing for the game, because we want to just, you know, enjoy a good MMO. And the only thing that can truly take Blizzard crown away is a good MMORPG just coming into the light. But as we've seen recently, that's not gonna happen in the next few years, because Ashes of Creation is literally on fire, Riot MMO is nowhere to be heard or seen, and New World just crashed and burned. It's literally dead. So right now there is zero competition. Blizzard is still the king of the dumpsters, but still a king, nonetheless.
Really a plea to Blizzard at all. It was just a simple PR move to gain more favor with the community, and it worked for their target audience. Turtle was back in
There we go. I haven't pre-watched this video. It literally just came out. I mean, I just know how the people think. It makes sense, because they try to appeal to the emotion of people and make them, like, I don't know, convince Blizzard, kind of turn against them. It's not going to work, Chief. People don't work like that. At the end of the day, this is a video game, and you won't get people riled up and shaking their fists angrily towards Blizzard. They've done this for many years. Nothing changed, because gamers vote with their wallets, and they will always subscribe to Blizzard games, because Blizzard is the only thing they've got. And I'm speaking for myself as well, because I'm paying for the classic shit. So it is what it is. We have no alternative, and we want to play a good MMO. There's nothing on the market right now. So what do? We pay Blizzard.
Headlines. And now, 2 months later,
and it really pains me to do this. Believe me, it does.
They've got themselves another headline.
I'm not having fun from it.
Remember when I said the Turtle WoW 2.0 was due out later this month? Well, the news is that it's actually not due out later this month. It no longer has a release date, because right as it was due to come out, they've just went and cancelled it. Basically, some people suggest that the money ran out. Other people are saying that it was never real in the first place. A few are saying that this is all one big rug pull to farm up donations all year and then just walk away with the donation money. And that last idea sure would sting, especially because they haven't actually given a reason for this going down. And we all know how that goes down. Silence breeds speculation. And of course, yes, all of that stuff may be true, but I actually think there's a little bit more to it. So, the actual statement they put out says that their, quote, development agreement is, quote, permanently discontinued. Now, that is a very specific sort of language. Essentially, it seems they're distancing themselves from the Unreal Azeroth team, or the people doing this work. Now, not long after, they also changed their domain name, and without warning, they moved from turtlewow.org to turtlecraft.gg. And that actually gave us the answer to what's going on here. Basically, Blizzard has them on the run, and specifically, Discovery is what has them on the run. And by Discovery, I don't mean the science, history, ghosts, and aliens people. No? I mean that part of the law, the process of legally obtaining evidence. This basically means bank statements, emails, that kind of thing. Just anything that could be relevant, right? So, in October, Blizzard's lawyers contacted every company they could. Anyone that they could target as a part of their big case.
Yeah, because they couldn't directly touch them, so they tried to make sure everyone who's in cahoots with them just capitulate to their demands, right? And it makes total sense. Like, why should they have like a Discord servers, Reddit, all that stuff, and just ban them from every single platform, and essentially just cut all their ways to exist that they die naturally. That's what Blizzard is trying to do. They take all of their oxygen tubes away. You can essentially say that.
And very importantly for today, that includes Epic Games. They're the makers of Unreal Engine, and it also includes Namecheap, who are the bunch that Turtle purchased their domain with. Now, that allowed Blizzard to find out more stuff about the people involved. As an example, like the domain owner in Kazakhstan, and the owner of AFK Craft, which is one of Turtle's shell companies. And this document, by the way, was filed the very same day as Turtle's announcement. So if you ask me, I think this...
Dude, why Blizzard does all this research instead of making a good game? Like, it's so mind-boggling to me. Can we just put it to the side for a second and just think for ourselves? Why, when it comes to money and legal stuff, Blizzard is like 10 out of 10. They would literally hunt you down to the house you live in, some goddamn hut in some remote country. They will find you, but they won't make a good game. Can we think about that for a second? That's insanity, dude. Just make the game good. I mean, Gabe Newell said it the best. Like, Gaben is the true king of video game history, okay? He said that if you don't want your games to be pirated, you need to offer the people something that is better than the pirates is offering them. Like, that is still holds to this day. So just make a goddamn good game for once, Blizzard. Holy, that's so annoying.
This is likely the real answer. The discovery process is finding people, and I think they are scrambling to get themselves out of the blast zone of all that stuff. So in the end, I think Blizzard's lawsuit has had the effect that they wanted. Turtle is on the run. I think what we're seeing here is basically evidence of that, as they are trying to clean things up so that, for them, hopefully, less is found in discovery that would be a bad look. Or perhaps more than a bad look. For now, though, there's no impact to the actual existing private server, but this is just the beginning of the legal process. So expect more major stuff here.
Yeah,
but
it's only gonna get worse.
In their plea to Blizzard, they said, Turtle WoW is here to stay. Ooh. We will have to see how well that statement will age. The next year may look a bit grim for Turtle, Blizzard, but seemingly it looks kinda good for Blizzard. So here's the deal, right?
What?
Johanna Fares is someone who's been pretty much behind the camera most of the time. I wouldn't be surprised if many of you didn't even know who she is, but basically she has been Blizzard's president for about 2 years now, though she's very low-key about it. But largely we don't have a sense of her because we've not really seen her at BlizzCon. Obviously, there hasn't been a BlizzCon
She didn't
since
want
she
to attend
started
there
the
as
job,
well.
and there will be one in 2026. So to build up that public profile, she's done some interviews in the kind of
this trailer was
Christmas
sick.
roundup period that lots
I
of
remember
outlets
that.
do. But before any of that, I need to draw your attention to one Reddit comment.
Ooh,
So,
no, why
Jason
would you do that?
Schreier historically has been tearing Blizzard apart at just about every opportunity. I don't think that's because of some irrational hatred of Blizzard. It's, well, been reporting on the company's
Nature of the
many
beast.
foibles and sins over the last many years. So, that's where Jason's coming from. He's done a lot of stories in this company. He has a lot of sources in this company. Wrote a whole book.
He has a whole book on Blizzard? Dude, that's crazy. To be fair, the fact that Blizzard has done so many shady stuff that can actually fill a book, that's commendable. I mean, you know what? It's it's crazy. Like, this is this is so stupid, man. Oh my god. What have we become?
About Blizzard's history that was, very much the things that would be left out of maybe the official company history.
The cube crawling stuff. The Cosby Suite.
So, with that
Chapter 69 of Frisiabi. God. Oh, Lord.
context in mind, what he had to share about Johanna was actually
What a
quite
book.
a shock.
I gotta purchase
because
a copy.
apparently, she's a good president. A Reddit comment claimed that Blizzard's
Good president means that she doesn't, like, literally harass the employees. Like, oh, whew, that's fine with me. That's a good president for Blizzard, boys. Like, perfect.
staff actually like her. Jason then confirmed that. And in some ways, she's been an anti-Kotick, as in Bobby Kotick, where she's reportedly undone some of his initiatives. Now, from what we understand, she's fairly...
It doesn't matter. You just swapped one evil overlord for another. And I'm not talking about her. I don't know anything about her. But, like, moving from Activision to, like, Microsoft didn't change anything. And we've seen it. I remember how the people cheered and were like, oh, goodbye, Bobby. Yeah, the game is gonna be good again. Well, look where we are now. Is the game good? Nope. Because it doesn't change anything. The people who are still working at Blizzard are the real problem. Because, yes, some decisions were made based on financial decisions. Like, sure, I'll give you that. But some bad decisions were made because of the people who made the game. They weren't made for financial reasons. They were just bad. So, I mean, nobody told you to design Mythic Plus the way that it currently is. Like, you just did that on your own. And that was bad. Like, nobody told you to put 4 difficulty levels for a raid. That's you. And that's bad. And again, we can go on and on and on. We can talk about gear. We can talk all about this stuff like the tokens. And okay, maybe tokens are actually, kind of financial thing. But we can talk about all of the other things like questing and all of that stuff. But these are decisions that were made by the people responsible for making the game. They weren't financial decisions. The finance guy didn't tell you to put, like, garbage mounts. Like, no, you did that. You made that shit. So, again, like, blaming everything on the higher-ups is just your way to cope. It's not reality.
corporate, so we probably won't see her make, jabs at players like J. Allen Brack did. I'd say she's well media trained. I think that does come across in some interviews because there's a lot of corporate jargon that doesn't really mean that much, but apparently there's a really big difference.
Bro, who cares how media trained you are? Make a good game. What in God's name are these people trying to cope for? Holy.
Maybe between her and Jay. And that is that by these reports, she's actually competent, which must be quite nice if you're working there. So, in an interview with Jason, let's get on to the meat of things then, she went over some of what she's changed over the last few years. First, there's the new partnership with NetEase. That's a fairly obvious one, and it was actually one of her priorities. And of course, with that happening, she's now got millions more players somehow being involved with Blizzard's pockets.
Okay, this was a financial
intermediary, of course.
You got
NetEase. Now, the other big initiative that she's had, to put it bluntly, has been keeping employees sane. Or basically, since her arrival, they've been internally transparent about how well games are doing financially. And they do this very regularly, and that means that staff pretty much always know what their bonuses are going to look like and where that bonus is going to come from. So basically, people kind of understanding why things are happening, which is often good for morale. And I think on that topic, there's another big change.
Transparency.
Really huge one. And that is that the bonus pools are now company-wide. So basically, the Warcraft team would benefit if Diablo does well and vice versa. That's actually really good. If one game is in between cycles, but another game has a really big release, then basically the bonus pool should be more smoothed out.
Yeah, it also improved morale. I do agree with this, work thing, right? I don't know what the right word for it. Like this work practice. Like I think this is good. It also unified a company, and I think this is always great because you care about the other, and to some degree. And it also unite like the employees at your company. I think that this is a great decision, actually.
The reason why that's good is company retention rate. That's really important if you're a player of World of Warcraft, which you probably are if you're watching this video. Basically, talent walking out the door is often the thing that actually rots games the most. We only talk about like dev decisions because those are very easy things to like notice publicly, but there's just that silent brain drain that is the real killer of teams over years upon years. So, this being fixed up is definitely good, and historically, this bonus stuff was one of the worst problems at Blizzard, where people would crunch their ass for a few months on a real low salary, all because there would be a promise of a bonus, but then that bonus may never really appear. Ultimately, people would often not really know why they didn't end up getting a bonus, and then management basically...
Bobby needed another yacht. You know that. He needs it. Shame on you for even insinuating that the bonus did not go to where it belonged. Shame on you.
Say, hey, good times are just around the corner. You know, hold on another year and then there'll be a big bonus. And for years upon years, that kind of worked. But then Blizzard's reputation went down and people in that local area started paying a hell of a lot of more money.
Yep.
Essentially, a lot of Blizzard's best talent just got poached by Riot. Obviously not just Riot, but you get the pick.
And this was literally Riot Games' best decision. I remember when I first heard about that and I was like, yeah, Riot is about to become the new king. And I still do think that. Riot currently is cooking with every single game or game mod they have. It's crazy. They don't have an L. They just keep collecting on W's, and it even goes to show with the recent like Arcane series, everyone is loving it. Like, this is perfect, right? Actually cares about the lore. They care about the good stuff, right? You have immersion inside of your game and all of that stuff, and it actually does make me pretty excited for the future because Riot is currently working on an MMO. The only thing that probably scares me about it is that they would cater to Eastern gamers because this is what Riot usually does. And we all know that Eastern MMOs aren't usually our cup of tea as Western MMO enjoyers. But you know what? I'm not going to say anything bad until we eventually see the game and I get to play it with my grandkids.
Sure, and they tended to be the people
I can force them to
money.
Heal me.
Now, I don't want to bore you with more technical production detail things, but this will actually matter to the game that we're getting. So here's the takeaway on the actual how games are getting made front from these interviews. And that is that, allegedly, Blizzard is genuinely changing. Overall, what that means is WoW is making more content faster with fewer slip-ups. I'd certainly have a few little foibles about that.
Nobody talks about the new expansion. The only thing I've heard, and believe me, I tried searching for any meaningful information about this, is that the housing system is great, and that's pretty much it. And by the way, the housing system have real life money into it. Like, it's crazy. They actually have real life currency. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Diablo 4 is about to release a second expansion. That's something that Diablo 3 never managed. If you don't remember, that's because Blizzard management panicked about sales, and they shifted gears.
I also heard it was about to be like not that impressive. The new class is out. I am going to try it, but I'll speak for myself. I'll make a video about that probably.
Purely out of fear,
I already purchased it.
Even though, well, in hindsight, everyone knows that was a mistake. That Reaper of Souls was a huge success, and that the panic over immediate Diablo 3 sales basically killed Blizzard's opportunity to do a good follow-up. Then, obviously, years later, Overwatch 2 PvE got cancelled because they just didn't have faith in how it was turning out. Obviously...
No, they wanted to cut costs, and they wanted to bait the people into essentially change their entire monetization structure without, like, they basically tried to do the largest rug pull on everybody. So, in case you don't know Overwatch used to be, you pay the game, you pay the base price for the game, and that's it. You own Overwatch. Now, Overwatch 2 should have been a free-to-play update where they take the game, they make it free-to-play, and the in the process, they basically changed the entire monetization structure, because Overwatch 1, you paid for it, you got the game, and then you had everything inside of it. You had loot boxes which you could pay for, but honestly, they were really generous and you didn't need to spend a dime for them. I know, I used to play Overwatch a ton back in the day. So the monetization was very good inside of Overwatch 1, you know, from the perspective of the player, obviously, but Blizzard wanted more. So when they shifted to Overwatch 2, basically, they changed the entire monetization structure to make skins like $20, I think, something insanely, like, ludicrous amounts of money. And at the same time, they were promised, like, oh, we're gonna make this transition, so we will give you the PvE experience you deserve. And then they canceled the PvE. Classic Blizzard maneuver. They knew that from the start. If you try to even convince me that this wasn't the case, you're dumb. Like, I'm not gonna listen.
That's a rug pull that devastated that game and its team.
Dude, that's crazy. He literally said the same thing. I swear to God, I haven't pre-watched this. There's like crazy.
The combination of all of this was that nobody really trusted Blizzard anymore. If we're to fast forward to the story of the current era.
And also, they shouldn't. After that, like, honestly, they shouldn't.
It is basically that they're moving forward, they're moving fast, and that even the seemingly cursed Overwatch is kind of slowly clawing back support. Basically, It seems that Stadium and
Marvel Rivals still took everything they got and more. Like, Marvel Rivals is still vastly more popular.
Perks have given that game a little bit more of a lease of life. But basically, all these comms are about a Blizzard that seems secure enough to actually stick to their plans. Basically, grind out until the game is good. I think what that means is that 2026 may not be perfect, but I think it will look a good bit better than things have in recent years. Though obviously, that is coming from a bunch of interviews with someone who is, by all accounts, really well regarded within the company, but obviously is media trained, right? So I am going to have to shake some salt over just about everything that I said there. Basically, I do see a lot of the change that's happened in the times that I've talked to Ian Hazakostas or Holly, and a few opportunities over the years. It's been interesting seeing.
Brother, what's changed in the past 5 years in Blizzard? Really, I want an answer to that. Because if you take these content creators that constantly glazes Blizzard, you go back 5 years and watch their content, it's all the same thing. Blizzard is making changes. Everything's going to become better soon. Trust me, guys. 5 years, they've maintained this consistent line of thought, and look where we are now. Is anything better? Is anything good? Has Blizzard changed? No! Nothing changed. The game still sucks balls, and nobody's playing it. Blizzard is absolute garbage, and we need to stop pretending. It's been 5 years at this point. To be honest, it's been more than that. I just took 5 years as an example. It's like, it just sucks. I hate when these people are being disingenuous, and they're constantly trying to bait you with Blizzard is making changes, and it's all going to become good. We see the wind of change. Like, what? There's nothing. No interview with Ian is going to convince me that they're going to make WoW good again. Like, nothing. He's been interviewing, like, people have been interviewing him, again, for the past 5 years. Nothing has become good. You bringing Chris Metzen into the company, maybe can hype up some people. But I want to see a viable product in front of my eyes and not some big shot name in front of me. I want to see an actual good game. I don't care about all of the side stuff. And I never see that. And I never will. Because it's Blizzard.
And how they've changed the actual, like, team structure and all of those things.
Yeah, they changed it like 10 times in the last year. Like, who cares? Who cares?
Much as that has given us good shit, obviously, we've had a lot of QA issues when it comes to patches. And for as amazing as, say, player housing is, and I think it genuinely is amazing.
And it's the only good thing about the expansion. They also did ship
the new player experience with loads of foundational problems.
Yep.
Which isn't the best way to finish off an expansion. So,
true.
I love all the vibes coming from these interviews with Joanne.
And it's all vibes. Like, that's all they offer. They offer vibes, and they really hope you purchase the next expansion, and then they will disappoint you again. All they do is live off of hype, and even that starts slowly to die. Well, not slowly, really. If you watch the recent degradation, like, in trailers, you can clearly tell Blizzard is losing the battle. Like, they're just losing. People aren't watching. Blizzard isn't investing as many resources as usually they would have in those trailers because they know nobody's going to watch that. Like, it's over. They're cooked.
Faris. but I certainly would say...
I truly believe that Riot Games will be the final nail in their coffin. I truly believe that. You just wait few more years. You can clip that. You wait few more years, you will see for yourself.
The quality of delivery...
Because Riot Games, sorry for pausing all the time like an idiot, but Riot Games is way more popular in the East than Blizzard. If you think Blizzard is big in like China and all of these places, man, you have no idea the hold that Riot Games has on all of these. Because they're with NetEase, right? NetEase purchased all of Riot Games, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. Like, they're cooking, for sure.
Needs to be better than it was in 2025. Because even cool features, like, say, Light's Radiance, or even the dreaded Awakening
They're not
Machine,
going to change anything.
They could have been cool if the seemingly intended overall design kind of made it into the game. But obviously, you look at Awakening the Machine, that was clearly cut from at least what data mining suggested it at one point could have been, and the likes of Flames Radiance were kind of written off by players because it was busted when it launched. We can't have that continuing, so for as good as all that stuff from Joanna is, I need to see the quality of delivery go up. And that brings me to our final thing. What does Blizzard's 2026 look like? Well,
to stop throwing feces at the floor and start throwing them at the ceiling.
The big quote their president left was this: "The teams across Blizzard entirely as an organization are gearing up for what we hope to be the biggest year yet for Blizzard, and we take that statement very seriously."
I'm sure of it.
It's a bold claim. Let's work through it. We've got pre-patch for midnight on January 20th. That's when a few combat add-ons will be breathing their last, and of course whenever we get to see WoW's approachable combat. And that will forever change how you actually play the game.
Sure.
Now, 6 weeks after that, we'll actually be playing Midnight. The expansion will be out. That's fairly huge.
No.
And at least from what we've played of Alpha and
Why
Beta,
would you do that?
it's an expansion that so far is a massive improvement in all of the groundwork that Blizzard laid with The War Within. It's not like evolutionarily a complete...
It's a patch instead of an expansion. That's basically what he's trying to say here. He's just being kind of nice about that.
...different, brand new thing. But it is
a
very
patch
big
for the
improvement,
cost of an
and it's a
expansion.
major help that it's actually based, not to be a bit too rude, but in a bit of the game that people actually give a shit about, and, with a bunch of characters that people actually give a shit about, as opposed...
Brother, nobody cares about any character anymore. Sylvanas has been butchered to a point where nobody could care if she lives or dies. Thrall is just like a giga loser that actually nobody cares about. I think most people want him to be gone rather than just live and prosper. And Jaina, like, who cares about fucking Jaina anymore?
Just to,
The last Giga Chad was Garrosh, and that's it. Like, I'll die on this hill. That's pretty much it. And he died like a champ, and it happened in Shadowlands for all places. Like, that is insane. But at least he was the king. He's the true war chief for me.
Random ass Earth.
I'm a horde player, by the way.
An island with a bunch of people in it. That stuff is better. So I think Midnight's looking good, although I absolutely expect a lot of turbulence. After the expansion drops, expect patches basically 8 weeks as they have been through this expansion. But as for the rest of Blizzard, well, in late April, that's when we'll be getting Diablo IV Lord of Hatred. Apparently Lilith is going to be back, which as a lover of deep history in the cradle of civilization, I'm very down on, given, it
was
Lilith.
A good trailer.
I think she was totally wasted in D4. But to keep it big picture, Joanna Faris said that Blizzard now aims for 2 major releases a year. So Midnight and Lord of Hatred should be Blizzard's big headliners. But there's quite clearly something else, because Faris called this Midnight and Lord of Hatred thing a kickstart to Blizzard's 2026. So let's think about other things then. We've got Diablo's 30th anniversary this year. There are hints they'll have some sort of surprise lined up. Some people hope it's a D1 remaster. Of course, after the success of Diablo 2 Resurrected, maybe.
Not gonna lie, I literally played Diablo 1 for the first time like a month ago, and this game is goated. It's so damn good. If they would actually do a pretty good remaster, I'll probably play it.
It's also Overwatch's 10th anniversary, which genuinely shocks and despairs me, but hey, I'm sure.
Wait, what? I'm this old? Jesus, man. Oh no, I feel like I'm approaching my 30s. Oh god, not again.
It does pass. Anyway, they could have something brewing there. But on the WoW side, Classic has been quiet for a while. I would not expect a release.
Of course.
But I certainly do expect news. And when better to deliver that news than, of course, at BlizzCon. A grand return to BlizzCon will be their best chance to grab people's attention, and I think it will be humongous. Like, actually humongous. So, obviously, the Classic team's cooking something up. We literally know that it's Classic Plus, we just don't know what it looks like. I think that'll obviously be talked about. I'd say we will also likely find out something about The Last Titan then. It's a distinct possibility, so that's a lot of announcements already. Maybe then a surprise Diablo 1, hopefully something special for Overwatch, and there have been rumblings of StarCraft 2. We do know they've got at least one project going in the StarCraft universe, so maybe there'll be something there. And of course, by the time that this BlizzCon happens, which is uncharacteristically early in the year, it's September instead of November, but at about that time, we'll have our first major midnight patch. And generally by the end of an expansion's first major patch, at least with the news cycle of things, we do actually know where the story is going. So by that point, we'll probably know what the final big patch is, and that means that The Last Titan, I think, will be presentable for them. So, seemingly quite a lot. Maybe 2026 is supposed to start with delivery, basically build up some credibility by actually delivering shit, and then towards the end of the year, basically say, hey, Classic Plus, StarCraft, The Last Titan, and just do a bunch of things that'll be impressive to people. If that's what they pull off, I think it could be a genuinely great year. I definitely don't think it will be
and that's a big if. Like, that's the most ginormous if in the entire planet. Because you mentioned a lot of things that, yeah, on paper, like, they're great and everyone wants them. But is Blizzard really capable of pulling these off? To be honest, I don't think so.
No, I don't. There will be friction. There will be turbulence. Just look at the number of bugs we tend to have with new patches and stuff. I think these things will get better. But I don't think 2026 will end with those systemic problems solved. Still, I think it is shaping up to be a genuinely great year for Blizzard.
I think.
And that actually does feel really damn good to say. And to be ready for that, well, why not queue up our Midnight Class series?
I've been literally hearing the same damn thing for like the past 5 years. I'm kind of getting sick of it. Like, but at this point, I mean, it just is what it is, right? People are still coping and still think that Blizzard is going to become better the next day. But hey, you know what? Only time would tell. Regardless, great video. I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you guys can watch him, give him a like and a sub for yourself. By the way, sorry for pausing all this time. I'm so goddamn nasal. I had to blow my nose like 7 times during this video. But this is insane. Like, well, not 7 times, but yeah, you know, I had to stop a lot of times. That being said, like, if I think Blizzard is gonna nail all of these things or even half of them, no. I have absolutely no belief that Blizzard would be capable of creating something good, because evil can only corrupt that which good forces have made. And Blizzard, unfortunately, is not one of the good guys anymore. Yeah, I mean, Classic Plus, I really hope some corner in my mind that they would take notes and inspiration from Turtle, but the clear way of how they dealing things, like how they handle stuff, it just goes to show they want to eliminate competition rather than just make something good. So why? Like, it's so crazy. Even though I do know that as part of the lawsuit with TurtleWow, against TurtleWow, I should say, they did want to seize all of their assets. So that means that instead of the normal cease and desist, just tell them to stop and shut it down, they actually want to take the files of TurtleWow. So maybe they want to use it for their own gains. Like, for sure. Like, why would they do that? That's kind of weird. But I mean, I don't know if they can manage to pull this off. Regardless, we only have time to tell us what's going to come next. So yeah, I mean, just it is what it is. I guess we have to wait and see.